Hey guys, this is Luke Deckard, part of the sports medicine team with the LPGA and Epson Tour. So thought we would do something a little bit fun this week and just kind of recap what I've been seeing and just kind of what we've been doing out here week one. So as you know, players are just coming right off their off seasons. Some of them have played in some warm-up tournaments on some smaller tours, but most of them, this is their first competitive rounds of the year. So from my perspective, was hoping that we would come in with minimal to no injuries. So I will say we didn't have anything major coming in, which is nice since we're starting off a 3-week stretch, but we did have some kind of normal aches and pains and some chronic things that have still been following some of these players around. So this week, I would say still probably the number one thing I'm seeing out here is like low back pain. Generally for the players out here, what I'm seeing is that right side. So a lot of right side or trail side for a player. So if they're left-handed, it'd be their left side. But a lot of it's from like the compression and that side bend at impact. So doing a lot of work to QL, some facet stuff, manipulations, a lot of dry needling, just trying to calm things down, get players moving and feeling better. So the biggest thing we'll see out here is when I talk to players about like feeling tight or mobility, it's not necessarily like they're tight comparatively to someone else. Like they're gonna pass some of the basic like TPI tests or other screens that we'll use here, but to themselves, they are not at their normal levels. So what we have to do is compare to that, right? Because that's what matters, and most of them are mobile. So once we do like some mobs or needling and whatnot, we're retesting those movements that initially were painful or stiff and seeing if it changes. And a lot of times it is. So that's a great indicator always to use, like if you're getting the right results. And if you're not, you gotta try something else. So a lot of that this week, a lot of discussion on just continuing off-season workout plans into the season and what that might look like for players, just because we really need probably more work on their like true stability through, when we say like the core and the hips, and I'm talking more in like ways to do it in like functional positions or standing, challenging the body in those ways, not just like crazy laying on the floor, kind of basic stuff. Although we do have some players that's where we have to start with. Probably the number 2 thing out here this week has been the neck. A lot of cervical stuff, even some leading down into like forearms and hands. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And if someone's coming in with wrist hand stuff, I know in golf we do tend to get a lot of like forearm tendinitises and whatnot, but do not neglect the neck, because there's been a couple players I'm working on their neck and guess what? It's changing the pain or that weird feeling down their arm. So again, and it doesn't have to be traveling all the way down. Sometimes it will skip. So that's one thing to stay aware of. You know, if you're a practitioner or if you're a player and you've been having those symptoms and you've been getting treatment directly to the area, maybe that's not the right place. So that's been number 2, and I've seen that a lot before. A lot of the times it's because our players are really mobile, and between travel and just like sleeping arrangements, sometimes it just doesn't like fit up with them. And again, cervical spine is kind of compressed on that trail side, so it's not uncommon to get stuff down the arm leg. So again, a lot of needling there, mobs, manips, just a lot of things to calm it down. And then we're again discussing a lot of those are like postural re-education exercises, so retraining like scapular movements and trying to work on that, because again, the players I see a lot are not just crazy hypomobile or stiff. It's a lot of hypermobilities. So yeah, great first week out. Players are kind of wrapping up their final rounds here, so excited to see kind of where that finishes up. We've got some really cool things planned ahead too on the tour this year, so just make sure you guys keep an eye out, because we're going to do some force plate testing out each week, and hoping to even do some further like strength and conditioning things to truly know kind of where we stand and build a true library of normative data that we can provide that you guys can use with your elite women golfers. So take care guys, and we'll stay tuned for the next event.